So the Las Vegas Raiders will be coming to Lucas Oil Stadium to face off the Indianapolis Colts, who are a very hot football team right now and has done very well versus some very good football teams, even without some of their top players. And the Raiders are coming to town to play a healthy Colts team that's going to have most of their starters intact. Their offensive line is going to be intact. Most of their team is going to be intact, and I think this is going to be a decent game. So first, we're going to talk about some of the injuries. So y'all know I am using Colts Wire for the injuries to give credit to them. So I'm going to be looking at the injuries, talking about some fun facts, and then we're going to be getting into our predictions. So first, let's talk about some of the injuries. So for the Colts, you have 4 players. You have Jack Doe, who logged a full practice only on Friday. So he is questionable with the knee/ankle. But since he logged a full practice, I think he will play. He may be on a pitch count, but I think he's going to play. Safety Andrew Sandejo, he is out with a concussion still. Eric Fisher did not practice all week, and he is questionable. And guard Mark Lewinsky was a limited participant on Friday, so he is questionable. So let's go to the Raiders injuries. So for the Raiders injuries, you have you really don't have much at all. Linebacker Divine Diablo was listed, but that cleared up. He's a full participant. Jonathan Hakens, he's the only one that is actually questionable for this Raiders team. Derek Carr showed up on the injury report, but he's fine. His ribs are fine. And then the tight end Daniel Helm, his knee, he logged full participants all week. Josh Jacobs with his ribs, he's fine. Tight end Foster Moreau with his abdomen, and Brandon Parker, the tackle, both logged all full participant practices all week. So that is good to hear from that side. So let's get into some of the fun facts here, some of the history. So, and by the way, I'm just getting these fun facts off of the NFL. You go to the Game Pass and you go to the game, you click on the game, and they'll give you all types of fun facts on the side. So that's what I'm looking at right now. So let's look at the 1 hour record show. The Raiders have lost 7 straight games in week 17 or later when their opponent enters the game with a winning record. So, and that is the longest streak in the AFC. So that is something that leans towards the Colts. They struggle versus solid teams late in the year when they're really hitting their stride. So that's something to note. And then Indy is one of 2 teams that have a 2-0 or better record against teams with 8+ wins entering the matchup this season. Other one is Houston, which is absolutely absurd. And then you have inside the matchup, Las Vegas has allowed the fewest rush yards per game and second fewest total yards per game in the NFL in the last 2 weeks. And Jonathan Taylor leads the NFL in rush yards and scrimmage yards. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there. Let's see if they can stop Jonathan Taylor or at least slow him down. So point is, the Colts have allowed 18.8 points in their last 10 games, and they're 8-2 in those games. And then, in their first 5 games where they were 1-4, they allowed 25.6 points per game. And then you go to the Colts are trying to become the 5th team in the last 30 seasons to start 0-3 and make the playoffs. Big time there. And then the Raiders have allowed 14 points or fewer in 2 straight games, allowed 17+ points in each of previous 6 games. So I guess we'll see if this Raiders defense is for real. Are they going to continue dominating versus this Colts team? They played a very good rushing attack last week in the Broncos. Now, could they do it against Jonathan Taylor? I guess we'll see. So then the Colts have won 9 of their last 12 games after starting 0-3. So we know that the Colts are a hot team. We know that the Raiders are coming into this game winning their last few. This is an interesting game. It's going to be a fun game. A lot of playoff hopes right on this game for both teams. The Indianapolis Colts can clinch a berth with the win. And I think if the Raiders lose, their chances drop significantly. But if they win, I think they have a much better chance of making it. So let's get into my prediction. So if you go to the Colts side of things, they're getting a lot of people back. They're going to be getting Smith back. They're going to be getting Nelson. It's unsure if Lewinsky's going to play. I believe Ryan Kelly is coming back. Eric Fisher, he is questionable, but he hasn't been all that amazing this year anyways. But it is great to have that veteran presence at least. So I guess we'll see who starts there. Maybe we'll throw Matt Pryor over there, which I think he is a very versatile guy. So guard, tackle, center. So you could put Matt Pryor over there, and I think he'll be fine. And then if you go, to the Raiders' defense, can they really stop this Indy rush attack? They've been actually pretty decent against the rush attack this year, better than some people really think. You look at the Raiders and you're like, oh, their defense isn't that good. Oh, they can't really stop the run. But yeah, I think they're going to pose a little bit of a challenge for this Colts front at least. Jonathan Taylor, Nyheim Hines. I think Nyheim Hines always has a decent game against the Raiders, so maybe he, for a change, has a crazy game. But it's probably going to be Jonathan Taylor always, and then you have Michael Pittman against Casey Hayward, and Casey Hayward has been a pretty good corner this year. Pittman has been a pretty good wide receiver this year. And then one of the more fun matchups in this game that I think people are going to skimp over a little bit is Kenny Moore against Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow has been an amazing slot receiver this game. This year, he's very, very, very smart. Same thing with Kenny Moore. Kenny Moore is an amazing slot cornerback, and I think this is going to be a big matchup to watch on third downs. And I think Kenny Moore is going to be able to do decent. But I think I think Renfrow is going to get a few on him. Renfrow is very smart. He's a very, very smart wide receiver. One of the smartest players in the probably in the NFL, to be honest with you. He's pretty damn smart. So, you go to special teams. The Colts will be without Luke Rhodes because he was placed on the COVID reserve list. That's huge. That may be bigger than people think, but the Colts have a very, very, very good special teams unit. Let's see if they make another impact this week. Last week they did with the missed extra point, I believe it was, and the field goal. Quite a few field goals. They've just been a very, very, very good unit all around. Bubba Ventrone has been very good. Matt Eberflus has been very good. And then on top of that, this Raiders team is no joke, though. You can't just be at home and be like, we're just going to completely wreck this team, because it's not how it's going to work. This Raiders team is a little better than you think. Even though with all of the distractions, all of that kind of stuff, they still power through the season and have done pretty decent. So I guess we'll see what happens. But but Derek Carr, struggles under pressure, so that's something to monitor there. Derek Carr struggles under pressure. He's not great in the red zone. I think he threw like 2 touchdown passes in the past 6 weeks, so that's something to keep an eye on. He's been struggling, or when he does throw a touchdown, he tends to throw a few interceptions as well. So, and the Colts are a very good team at taking away the ball. So I guess we'll see if we get a few takeaways there on the Colts side, which would be huge. So my prediction is that I honestly think that our Colts are going to pull this one out. We're getting a lot of people back, a lot of people healthy. If we were able to take down a Cardinals team last week, like we were in that situation, I think we're going to be just fine versus the Las Vegas Raiders team here. I'm not saying they're no slouch. They're definitely not. But I think us being healthy and getting us more players back, I think it's going to be better because, as you see in the beginning of the year, teams that don't have, as much talent as other teams, they usually start out pretty well because there's not much tape on the players, or, maybe there are, maybe there's not much tape on the players that are in that scheme. So maybe that was the case last week. There wasn't much tape on the players, on some players that were in that scheme in Matt Eberflus's scheme. So the Cardinals didn't really know what to attack, and the players that played that actually don't usually play, So that was something I was thinking about as well, But nonetheless, an amazing job by Frank Reich last week, and keep it up this week, man. Pound the ball down Las Vegas' throats, and then let's see Carson Wentz air it out. I think Paris Campbell is coming back this week, actually. I think so. This week or next week, but I would love to see him back. I'm so excited. He is a big, deep threat. I would love to see Carson Wentz hit a nice bomb to him, but he'll probably be on a pitch count. He's still getting healthy. He's just coming off an injury, so I guess we'll see. But my final score prediction is going to be, I'm going to say 34 to 23. I'm going to say 34 to 17. I'm going to take the Colts 34-17. I'm going to say that it's going to be a close game throughout. The Colts just pull away right at the end. So let me know what y'all think about this game. I think it's going to be a very good game, actually. Even though my final score doesn't really necessarily say it's going to be a very good game, But I think it's going to be a very good game throughout the game. So, y'all let me know your predictions in this game. I think it's going to be a very fun game to watch. And I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on, and I'll catch you on next time.